guys, my name is Sydney. I am the Boho Traveler, and I wanted to start by welcoming you guys and saying how excited I am that you are here. It's just amazing that you are watching this video and actually learning from me how to edit. I still just can't believe it. But yeah, so we are going to be talking a little bit today about how to edit and exactly the processes that I go through when I'm editing. So somebody else may have a different creative process, but this is exactly what I do almost every single time I edit. Obviously, with different photos, sometimes, some things don't need to be done. Sometimes there's some extra steps that need to be taken. But for the basic photo, this is exactly what I do to edit. So there are a couple of things that you need to remember when you start out editing. First of all, I do all of my editing in Adobe Lightroom. And the reason for this is it's easily the best editing software out there, and for photos at least, and not many people will disagree with you. You'll be hard pressed to find a photographer that doesn't edit their photos in Adobe Lightroom. It's just, if you take it seriously, that's what you're going to use. And I get it's a big commitment. I think I pay like $15 a month with a student subscription. Maybe it's more than that, but I have the whole Adobe suite. So I've got Premiere, I've got, the whole 9 yards. Every Adobe program there is, I have a subscription to. You can do like a photography package where you just get Photoshop and Lightroom, and I think that might be like $10 a month. I know it seems like a lot, but if you're serious about it, it's worth it. But if you don't want to quite commit to the desktop version yet, then you can still download the mobile version on your phone, and you can use that to start editing and kind of get familiar with the platform. And if you decide that it is something that you want to be serious about, then you can go ahead and purchase the desktop version. The second thing that I want to say that is going to really help your feed and take it to the next game, and I'm sure you guys have heard this word before on Instagram from all the bloggers that are out there, but everybody right now is selling presets, and I don't have my own yet. I don't necessarily think that I have enough of my own unique style to start selling presets, nor do I think that I have quite the audience yet, even if I may have some presets hidden on my back burner. But yeah, everybody and their sister is selling presets. There are a lot of good ones out there. There are a lot of bad ones out there. So that being said, be careful with what you purchase. All presets are going to be essentially the same thing. A preset is a filter that you apply to your photo. And the good thing about presets is they give you a consistent look and feel to your photos. So presets are how your feed is going to get all that same vibe. So if you want, when people look at your profile, to see that you plan your feed and that you're in this for the long game and that you're consistent, presets are going to be your best friend. Otherwise, it's going to take you 4 times as long to start editing. And Lightroom even comes with a few presets. If you want to just start out playing with those, you can. Then if you want to purchase some, go for it. I mean, I think there's even free presets out on the internet. Just download something and just start playing around with it. And that's the only way you're going to learn, is just by practicing. The presets that I personally use are by Aggie Lau, the curator of Travel in Her Shoes, and I love these presets. I've been using these presets since I first bought presets. I've tried a couple of other people's. I also sometimes use presets from Marie Faye and Jake Snow, and then I have a few of my own presets that I use that I've just kind of tweaked and made that I really like and eventually want to really curate so that they're my own. And a lot of people just one click and are done with presets. I don't do that. I like to add my own flavor to them. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today, is how I add my flavor and basically what everything in Lightroom means and the most important things that you need to be doing to edit your photos. So without further ado, that was a lot of talking. I know, I'm sorry guys, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys were all very clear on that before we started moving forward. But now that I've got that out of the way, let's start editing. I will see you in Lightroom. Okay guys, so I've got my screen recording up and we're going to start editing. So this is the photo that I've chosen we're going to edit. I picked this one because first of all, I really like the photos that we took here because I love these trees that are all in the background. Also, it's got a face in it. Faces are harder to edit than if it's just the back of your head. Couple other things, you know, the flowers, we don't want to have those change too much. And there's just, it's a pretty photo. There's a lot going on. It's kind of boring unedited. So the editing is what is going to make it awesome. So let's get started. We will come over here. This little column right here is our presets. And so you see, these are some of my presets from Aggie. Yeah, I've got all these, and if you run your mouse over them, you can kind of see like a test, you know, that hasn't set in stone yet, but you kind of get an idea of what the presets are going to look like. So obviously I don't like, that one's okay, I don't like that, you know. Here's some more. See, these are all presets that I have. Lightroom is being a little slow right now, but yeah. So you can kind of just scroll through and see, you know, which ones you like. You know, there's tons of different ones. Aggie, I think if you buy like the whole package, you have like whatever, 14. There's just 4 sets, and then there's 14 in each of them. So whatever that is. But yeah, and with her, she breaks them up into like, okay, so warm tones, blue tones. These are all green. So if I want to scroll down to the green, I could see like what colors she offers for green. But so my feed currently is pretty pink. So I want it to kind of stay pink. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to apply this preset right here called Iceland. Okay, maybe I won't. Which one was I going to apply? I think it is Iceland. Okay, so I'm applying Iceland. So I eventually want the photos to look like this. So this is my final edit. So I want my photo to look like that in the end. Right now it looks like this. So that's just with the preset applied. So now we're gonna keep going. Okay, so the first thing you wanna do, let me actually get my little list. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I apply the preset. That is just step 1. The next thing that I do is I adjust my haze, my clarity, my noise, and my grain. So I dehaze it is what I start with. So you come over here and you scroll down to effects, right? No. Where is it? They just updated Lightroom and things are switched around. Am I missing something? Okay, so right here, yes, you got your clarity, your haze, and then we'll scroll down and to effects and do noise and grain. So I like my photos with the clarity up a little bit. That's just a personal preference that I like, but you can see over here when you adjust the clarity what happens. So if you go down with the clarity, it becomes foggy. If you go up with it, it becomes more crisp. So I like to do somewhere in between, and then I'm going to dehaze it a little bit. Okay, see, if I dehaze it a lot, it gets really dark. Then if I go backwards, it gets it really light. So I like to go a little bit darker just because it kind of gets rid of that white film a little bit and kind of saturates the picture more without actually messing with the saturation, because sometimes when you mess with the saturation, things can get a little weird. I actually usually have the saturation lower on my photos and kind of get more of that rich color by dehazing it, because the dehazing kind of gets rid of that, for lack of a better word, that haze that can be over the film sometimes. So you know, sometimes photos look a little milky almost, and you don't even notice it until you mess with the haze. But yeah, I just up the dehaze, and that allows it to kind of bring some of that color back in and unwash the photo. So from there, I go to noise and grain. Let's see if I can find it. And I do these first So yeah, here's the noise reduction, luminance. See how you can adjust this? So when I go all the way up, see how soft it's making me? I don't like it that soft, but I also don't want it all the way like this. So I kind of go, yeah, somewhere in between. It was pretty good right where it was before, but yeah, we don't want it to be too much because then, I don't know, it looks really fake and like way too Photoshoppy. He said as I'm teaching you guys to edit, but yeah, I just don't like that look. And then effects, grain is down here. Okay, so I don't like a lot of grain. I like to add dust after I'm done editing the photo, and I do that in a separate app on my phone. I will link that app to you guys down below. But yeah, so a lot of Instagrammers like to have grain in their photo. I personally don't. I don't see the point in having grain. Because I just think it makes the photo like look like you took a bad photo, and why would you want to do that? So after I do all those things, haze, clarity, noise, grain, I then will go to the colors. So this is where a lot of people, you know, this is where you can really make it your own. So you have all these colors on this side right here. So you have your hue, saturation, luminance, which you can then adjust all the hues, you know, the saturations for all these colors, and then the luminance for all these colors. I personally think it's easier to think about if you go to color. So then you can look, okay, the color red, how do I want it to show up in the photo? There's not a lot of red in this picture, so like literally you can just see it in my lips. Look, right in there. I'll zoom in for you guys. So this is the only way you even really notice it. So I want my lips to have some color, so I'm gonna keep it there. And you know, you can adjust the saturation. Obviously that looks weird, you know, somewhere in between. You can make it darker, lighter, yeah, keep it about average. Okay, so orange. Orange is the most important color you will mess with. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom back out. I'm actually gonna fill it so you guys can see better. Okay, so this is me, orange. Look at what happens when I mess with the orange. Believe it or not, everybody's skin tone is orange. We're all Cheetos. So yeah, obviously I'm not some weird purple alien, and obviously not some green alien. So you gotta kind of find the color somewhere right in the middle. And this is where you will always have to adjust presets, because every picture, your skin tone looks different. I mean, if you go back and look at your photos in your camera roll, your skin color does not look the same in every photo. And also throughout the seasons, if you go to the beach, your skin's darker, blah, blah, blah. So you kind of have to play with this. I keep my skin a little bit more warm because my skin is naturally warm. Also, I'd rather be purple than green, just personal opinion. But yeah, so I keep it a little warm. Again, you can mess with the saturation and see how it's affecting my background. Don't worry about the background as much. Focus on your skin tone, because the background you can fix later, okay? Focus on your skin tone, because this is the most important thing. And if your skin tone looks normal, then your background will look normal too. And if you want your background to look cool, we can do that separately later on. Okay, so focus on your skin tone. I like skin tone desaturated a little bit. So that way it's not so like, wow, Cheeto, yeah, you know, and you can adjust the luminance. Obviously, I'm not brown, and neither am I a ghost. So, you know, you got to kind of find something in between. The darker you go, the more tan you will look. But also you have to be careful. Like, so now I'm this dark, and it looks weird. I won't lie, it looks really weird. But my face has now become really dark. So I need to up this a little bit, maybe resaturate it. And it's really just something that you kind of have to play around with until you find a color that looks normal. So I'm gonna actually lighten it a little bit more. Okay, so I like this right here. Maybe a little less saturated. Yeah, okay. So I like my skin tone. Now I can keep looking at all the other colors. So yellow. Yellow is also going to affect your skin tone a little bit, not too much. I like to keep my yellow orange just because I like orange and not yellow. And you see it'll affect, it's actually not affecting the flowers, which is interesting. I thought it would. Who knows? It's just not. Okay, and so yeah, the saturation. So I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can really see what's happening with the trees here as I play with the saturation. But look at that. This is all yellow. It's not like, I don't even think it's changing my skin color at all. Maybe slightly. So this is all just the background. And it's crazy what just messing with the colors does to your photo. So yeah, so I'm gonna desaturate it just a little bit. And maybe make it a little bit darker. Ooh, yeah, I like that. That's nice and spooky. I love spooky. Okay, and then I don't know if there's any green in this photo. Yeah, there is. So there's some green. Look down here. See all that? Obviously that brightness kind of looks weird to me. So I'm gonna bring it down. And then I kind of like the brightness because it contrasts with my dress a little bit there, okay? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see if there's any blue, just kind of play around with it. There's no blue, okay. So we'll ignore that, or there's no aqua. Aqua and blue are both really key when you have beach photos or if you're anywhere with blue. So like if your ocean looks really green and ugly and milky, you can play around with both the blue and the aqua to give it a little bit more pop. Like say you accidentally went to the beach on a really bad day, but you know the water's always beautiful there. You can kind of, you know, fabricate it a little bit so that it doesn't look as hideous and you can still inspire people to visit there because obviously the water doesn't always look like that. So yeah, the aqua and blue. So if the blue's not working for you, then go to the aqua, and then sometimes even the green will work. It's just you gotta kind of play around with all three to figure out what works with the water, because the way the ocean is or any lake or whatever, it's not just one color. It's not just blue, it's not just aqua, so you kind of have to mess around with all three of them. But there's none of that in this photo, so we don't need to worry about it this time. And purple, sometimes your skin tone is also affected by purple. In this photo, it's just not for me. Yeah, nothing's affecting us here. Magenta, yeah, I think there's some pink in here. Let's see, no, not really, okay. So I'm just gonna, so if you guys wanna undo what you did, Command Z if you're on a Mac. I don't know what it is if you're on a PC, but yeah, Command Z, Command Shift Z redoes things, okay? So if you need to know that, Command Z, you can also go to edit, this little thing up here, edit, undo, blue saturation, edit, redo blue saturation. Easy peasy. Okay, so we played around with the colors. I talked to you guys a little bit about skin tone, all very important things. The next thing that I want to tell you guys about is playing with the light. So you come back up here, see all this right here. Exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. Okay, so look at what happens when I mess with the blacks. Whoa, whoa, okay. So most presets are going to darken all of the whites and lighten all of the blacks. Same with shadows. They're going to bring all of the highlights down and all of the shadows up so that you can see as much in the photo as possible. Not all presets do that, but a lot of presets do. At least for bloggers, don't know why, that's just the blogger look at the moment, and people love that. So I like it too because it allows you to see more of what's going on in the picture. I also like to drag the contrast down a little bit. That's just a personal preference, but I mean, these are it's essentially doing the same thing when you have those highlights and shadows and the whites and blacks on opposite sides. It's essentially decontrasting it. I sometimes, depending on the photo, like to bring this contrast down a little bit as well. And then I used to, a lot of bloggers, you'll see them, you know, they bring up the exposure as much as possible until they start losing data. So like they could bring it up to like right here. I think that looks weird. Some people do it, I don't. I like my photos a little more darker, a little more moody. You know, I just like being moody. Can't help it, you guys. So this is where I'm at right now. So this is what we're trying to get. Come on. So, and this is what we have. So we're pretty close. This photo you can see, hold on, I think I can, yeah, set as reference photo. Okay, so, and then I can, let's see, okay. So this is the reference photo, and this is the actual photo. So let's see what the difference is here. I actually like the new edit better. And that's the good thing about Lightroom, is you're constantly learning and fixing things. But yeah, so I really like it. The only thing left, I think, yeah, so I think I have it, this is more sharpened, and I don't like that. Just from looking at it, I think the sharpening is way too high here. It's much softer of a photo here. Like, you can really tell, like, look at the sunflowers. Like, look at this. Okay, look at the sunflowers here, and look at the sunflowers here. Like, these look really grainy. Well, this one looks super grainy right here, but that's because I would mess with the blacks a lot. But yeah, just see how soft these petals look and these ones don't. When you zoom back out, zoom out. Oh, I'm struggling. Come on. Okay, there we go. And zoom out on this one. When you zoom out, it does make a huge difference, and I like the softer look. Also, I think this one is a little too overexposed. So, this is before and after. So this is where we started, and this is where we've come from. Okay. Oh, and then we can look at it like this too, before and after. So what it, you know, side by side, literally what has changed. So obviously we have like no greens left in the photo. All the greens have become pink. And see, look, my skin tone didn't really change that much. Maybe became a little, I'm a little bit more tan, but that's it. So, and my hair is actually whiter than in the picture, which I don't like, but we will be fixing that. Okay, so back to normal. So we just got a few things left to do. We've adjusted the light. Next thing, crop. So you always want to make your photos the best they can be for Instagram. So we come over to the crop button, this little guy right here. And the best size for Instagram is 4x5 or 5x4. This one right here, 4x5, 8x10. Click that guy and you can adjust. So, rule of thirds. I don't want to put myself right in the middle. That's weird. I want to put myself in the lower quadrant here. So, see how I'm lined up on the camera and there's a line here. I mean, you guys can't see these lines, but if this frame was divided into thirds, I've got 1/3, 2/3, the third. I am on this line and then there's a line here, okay? So I'm drawing your attention to this spot. I've got a little bit going on right here and this is all negative space. So you're ignoring that, so your eye is naturally drawn to right here, okay? So in perspective of this, think of that and apply it to your photos. This photo is not the best photo to show it to you with, just because, yeah, it was taken kind of straight on, but we were going for a look and that was the goal, was to kind of do it straight on just because of the setting that we had here. But still, I'm applying the rule of thirds. So see how my eyes are on a line? So my eyes are being drawn, your eyes are naturally drawn to the rule of thirds, to the 3 quadrants. So if I set my eyes on this line right here, your eye will naturally be drawn to my eyes. Does that make sense? So, and then this is all the negative space up here, and then this is my body. So you're naturally drawn to these 2/3, you see the pretty trees, but your eyes will naturally go here. So enter, cool. See how much better that looks just by doing that? It's amazing. I mean, I think it's a totally different photo just from applying that rule of thirds. But the other thing I want to tell you about, a little trick that Instagrammers do. So everybody does this to make their legs look longer, their waist look skinnier. If you think you're too close into a photo, you can kind of push yourself away by doing this. And what you do, you come to this little lens corrections right here. Make sure you click constrain crop. I'm gonna unclick it just so you can see what is happening when I do this. So yeah, if you push it this way, oh, bye-bye, Sydney. You're getting smaller. Okay. And look, now I'm further away. I constrain the crop. See what's happening here. Look. This was the original. And now if I push it, that's where I am. Okay, but see, I don't like how far it's gone, because look at the flowers now, they look kind of stretched out and weird. So I'm gonna bring myself back a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's much better. Go back to the crop, readjust myself. And see, it's not filling up the whole photo, just because I undid it. But yeah, so now I'm gonna come back, readjust the crop. I still on that third quadrant, enter, and there you go. And I'll show you, see, that's how you, okay, so that's the before and after. You can see exactly how the distortion switched it up. Pushed me a little further away, made me look smaller, and kind of just really gave it more of like a depth perspective. So that's just a little trick that Instagrammers do. A lot of people do it and you won't even realize it. You gotta really focus on their pictures. But yeah, a lot of people do that. I'm not saying it's bad. I do it to, not every single picture. Yeah, before and after you can see really, yeah, look at that. See how you can just see like my shoulders are smaller, but it's the same amount in the picture. So, you know, it's, see, like it's all the same amount that's in the frame. I'm just being pushed further away. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, back to editing. Yeah, and that's pretty much all that I do when it comes to basic editing a photo. I do want to show you guys one last thing. So I picked this picture in particular because my face is a little dark and a little like in shadow. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to selective edit. So this is the selective edit tool, this little wand right here. I don't really know if it's a wand, it's a brush, but this looks like a wand to me, you know. So now you can adjust the size of your wand or your brush. So big, obviously I don't need it that big, I'm fixing my face here. Feather is like the edge around it, so if you want a hard edge, you go there. If you want a soft edge, you make it bigger. I usually go for somewhere in between, because somewhere in between or a little bit larger, because that way if you overflow, like if I go off my face some, it blends a little bit better. You know what I mean? So that it doesn't just like totally look like, oh my god, she obviously edited this. So yeah, so do that a little bit. I think this needs to be a little bit smaller. And yeah, so right now I've got the exposure all the way up. That's what the brush is, that's all the brush is doing. And kind of just do that just so I can see where I'm drawing. Also, you can choose the density. So if you don't want it to do much, go down to 0. It'll do nothing. If you want to do everything, up to 100. Yeah, so here we go. Kind of brushing on my face. And down the neck a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the face. I might decide to do my hair, but I'm just gonna stick to the face. Okay, so obviously don't want it to continue looking like that, but bring the exposure back down, maybe up a little bit so that my face is already brighter. Contrast, don't want the contrast up. If anything, I want the contrast down. Okay, and my biggest thing, my eyes aren't showing very well, so I want the shadows gone, okay? So look at what happened when I got rid of the shadows. It's hard to see because there's this giant circle in the middle of my face, but with shadows, without shadows, instantly my face is brighter and you can see it clear. And that is all that I wanted to do. Yeah. Close. It's done. Boom. That's all I wanted. Instantly my face is brighter. Like, look, hold on, I'll undo it. Oh, I can't. Dang it, I thought I could just, boo, I thought I could just show you immediately, but it won't let me. Yeah, oh wait, but I did, what happened? Let's see. Oh, it did do it. It took the shadows away. So yeah, so there. Yeah. It's just a very subtle little thing, but it makes a big difference. Okay, done. We're done with that. Oh, one other final thing. I lied, it wasn't the last thing. So I always kind of do this at the end. You can do it at the beginning if you want. I always do it at the end. So something huge. Actually, there's a couple other things. These are just really basic things that I want to tell you. Sorry guys, this tutorial is getting really long, but I want you to have all the information. In both of these things, I kind of do at the end. You know, I told you my main things. These are just kind of bonuses. So split toning is what I'm going to talk about. So split toning right here underneath your color. Okay, so you can see right now my split toning is kind of set in between blue and purple for my highlights. I want to change that. I want my highlights to be pink. Okay, see how difference that makes? These are all the highlights are getting a tint, essentially, is what the split toning is. So if you want your photos to all be kind of pink, or if you want them to all be kind of blue, or if you want them to all be kind of red, you get the point. Come to your split toning and you can pick, okay? I mean, this bluish whatever is kind of the natural split tone of the photo, actually. It kind of has a natural look, but I want mine to be more pink, so I'm gonna go in between this pink and purple, because if I go all the way to the end, that's too red. If I go all the way into purple, then I just don't, it's not warm enough. So I go here. I'm gonna bring my saturation down just a little bit, enough so that it's pink, you know? Okay, and then you can do the same thing with the shadows. The shadow saturation is all the way down. So to make it more dramatic, you know, I can bring it here. Oh, I actually really like that. That was an accident, but so yeah, so you can kind of drag it. So if I put it in the same place, it looks weird. So you kind of want to do another color. I really like it on this yellow. If I made it super saturated, it looks weird. But, and this is with, no, that's just with the split toned highlights. So I up it a little bit, and it kind of just makes it its own photo. And then the one other thing, this histogram up here, this is another way of messing with this. So sometimes if I think a photo is not exposed enough, you can come right here and adjust it just a little bit, and you kind of drag it and see how the whole histogram shifts. Okay, and then your highlights, maybe I want my highlights to come up a little bit, and you can see it down here. Watch down here as I drag this back and forth. Okay, see how it's changing? So yeah, so you can just kind of adjust it little by little. You know, you got your blacks, shadows, exposure, highlights, whites. Yeah, and you kind of just mess with it. I think I like the shadows down a little bit now that I have my face fixed. And yeah, okay, so so I'm going to turn my screen recording off, and then I'm going to talk to you guys for just another minute. I know this was very long, but just give me just a second and I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, so sorry that ended up being so long, but really that, it does take me about 30 minutes to edit a photo, and that's about how long that took. So I was talking, so usually it takes me about 20 minutes per photo. But yeah, that really is how I go about doing it. And you know, that stuff I showed you at the end, the split toning is very important. It really can change the whole look of your photo even after you've done all of that other stuff. And like I said with, you know, the selective edits, I don't believe you can do selective edits in the free version on your phone, but if you have the desktop version, that's another way that you can totally change, you know, if you want to really, if you've got a cool sky in the background, but, you know, you don't want your face to look, you know, over defined and stuff, so you can selective edit and pick the sky in the background and really up the clarity on that, and that'll give you a really cool sky. There's tons of things you can do. The best way to get better editing is just by practicing. So just get on your computer or your phone and just practice, 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 and just keep going and keep going, because That's the only way you're gonna learn. I mean, you can watch as many tutorials as you want, and I gave you guys the basics and what you do need to know, and what is most important. But yeah, practice makes perfect. If you know, you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask me. I mean, I am here for this. You guys watch this video. Any questions you have at all, send me an email back, DM me on Instagram, send me a message on Facebook, whatever. I will answer you. I'm always on my phone unless I'm out sailing, which I sail for like 4 hours a day. So, you know, I will get back to you as soon as I'm back. But yeah, any questions you have, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm here for you, okay? All right, guys, so that is all that I have for today. But again, thank you so much. I love you. And yeah, if you guys can, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get 1,000 followers, which is harder than it looks. I don't know why I can't figure out YouTube, but anyways, please subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me, and I will see you guys soon.